hold this?
Oh, no, you can just leave that right down there.
Perfect.
Thank you.
How has camp and the kicker competition and everything that entails, how's it all been going?
It's been going great. Yeah, absolutely. We have been pushing each other to be the best versions of ourselves day in and day out. It's been a really tight battle, so I'm looking forward to keeping it going and kind of getting after these last few days of camp and getting ready for the season.
What are Mike after practices like?
They're awesome. They're full of energy. You know, there's not a rep where he's not yelling and hyping everybody up and getting everything going. Whether it's ones, twos, or threes. You know, he treats everybody the exact same, and it's pretty awesome. It can range from a field goal to punt to kickoff, and he never wavers. It's always the same, and it's one of the best things about it.
Do you remember when you first met him, like what your impression was of him?
Yeah, I do. He, my kicking coach actually prefaced to me that he was going to be super upbeat, and he's a pretty excited guy. And when I got on the phone with him, that was completely true. And I do remember, and it was pretty awesome. There's not a lot of guys out there that are as excited about his job and what he does as Coach Eckler is. And he brings that energy, and he kind of transmits it to us, and it rubs off on us, and it makes us all better. And it's really good. I enjoy it a lot.
Why did you come to Nebraska?
So mainly Coach Eckler. He was the first coach that I spoke with out of the portal, and as soon as I got on the phone with him and I talked to him about what he wanted to get done and what our goals were here, I was like, I don't need to hear anything else. That's what I want to be at. That's what I'm ready to call.
Do you get the sense that he's kind of trying to help shift the narrative with special teams, kind of getting guys to believe in what they're doing and having whatever happened in the past kind of go out the rear view?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything that we do, he wants us and he plans on us being the best in the country at it. And we hold that standard across all special teams. And if it's no reps are taken off. You know, we work as hard as we can on every single rep, and he holds us to that standard. And he talks about the success that he's had at Tennessee and places in the past, and the fact that we're going to beat that, and we're going to be better than that. And you know, I do think he's ready to, and I think that as a team, we are ready to shift the narrative of special teams and how it's been in the past versus how it's going to be in the future.
What was the kind of the timeline of when you decided to leave Cal, heard from Coach Eckler, picked Nebraska, ended up in Nebraska? Like, how did that all sort of come together? So
at Cal, for academic reasons, in terms of just not really being able to do the major I wanted to do, I decided to hit the portal just because, you know, academics are going to last longer than football will at the end of the day.
Was that like early spring then, or even before then?
Yeah, it was probably about early spring. But I kind of was on the I just wanted to feel it out, kind of see how things went, go through it, and just not leave any stone unturned. And then after spring ball was kind of when I realized that the major isn't really for me and that kind of thing. So I did decide to hit the portal, and not long after, it was probably a couple of days, I got in contact with Coach Eckler, and the rest is kind of history.
What is your major?
Right now it's business management with a minor in construction management, possibly looking at a double major in those two, just kind of feeling out, see how it goes.
Coach Eckler said that they're going to plan to name a kicking starter at the end of this next week. I guess how do you just handle this final, I guess, stretch of the competition? And obviously you said all three of you guys are pushing each other.
Yeah, attack one day at a time. You know, you can't look too far in the future, and you most definitely cannot look in the past. Right, all you can control is what's right in front of you at that given moment, and attack it. For me, it's not really how I'm going to handle the rest of camp. It's how I'm going to handle tomorrow, or how I'm going to handle my recovery today. Just put me in the best position I can be in tomorrow. And you know, the staff as a whole does a great job with that, with everyone on the team, and it kind of translates to all positions. Absolutely.
Is that your younger brother that's on the team?
Yes, sir, it is.
Who's got a bigger leg?
Well, I think I got him beat.
Where have you seen yourself grow the most just since arriving on campus?
I'd say in terms of definitely in my recovery and looking after my body. You know, these facilities are immaculate, state of the art. It's on us if we don't feel good going into practice every day because we have so many options to get better. And you know, I feel I've done a good job of making good use of those things and just kind of setting myself up the best I can be each and every day. And then also on the social side of things, you know, I knew nobody when I got here, so it definitely took some part of me that I hadn't really touched into very much to kind of go out and meet all the guys and, you know, socialize and kind of find my group and be open to everybody and that kind of thing.
Does it help when it also features other specialists, like Kevin Gallick came from somewhere else, and there's other guys that also are coming into Nebraska for the first time? Does that make it a little bit easier in that regard?
Yeah, I'd say a little bit. Me and Archie Wilson arrived on campus within days of each other.
Yeah.
So I met his whole family and all that kind of stuff, and so we got pretty close pretty quick, just because we were kind of the only two we knew. And you know, when we got here, summer conditioning hadn't started yet, so it wasn't until then when we could really get out and socialize with everybody and get to meet everyone. So him and I definitely bonded over that. And then Kevin as well. I mean, all of the specialists were super welcoming as soon as we got on campus and as soon as summer conditioning started. And it's just a great group of guys. We're super close, and it's a really good atmosphere for sure.
What has it been like for you having Brett Maher around, obviously from the NFL kicker, just things you maybe picked up from him?
Oh, it's been awesome, and definitely on the fundamental side of the game, but the mental side of the game more specifically. It's, you know, he's been around the block. He's seen just about all there is to see in the kicking world, so he can help us navigate these situations and understand everything, so that when the time does come, we're prepared and nothing really catches us off guard. And then in terms of fundamentals and that part, you know, he does a really good job of breaking down the core concepts and applying them to each and every one of us, because neither me, John, or Tristan kick the exact same. But he's able to look at how we kick and what would optimize how we kick and what would make us the best versions of ourselves. So he's been a super big asset on our staff.
Kicking being such a mental thing, I guess, how do you approach that? How do you think you've developed on the mental side of things?
You know, I focus a lot on breathing. There's something we talk about, and more specifically with Dr. Stout, is, you know, if you have the things you are focused on in the moment, there is no space for anything else to get into your mind and cloud it, right? So if you're truly focused on, say, your breath, say, your process, anything in that kind of regard, there's no space for any other thoughts to get in, and like doubt or anything like that. So I really just try and hone in on one specific thing, just because it allows me to block out everything else. And it's not really blocking anything out, but it's more of not letting anything else in.
Hey, what have you seen from Archie that makes him special?
And that kid can do just about anything you ask him to with a football on his foot. He, whether it's a banana ball, a roll out right, roll out left, spiral, like he hit some of the biggest spirals I've ever seen, but he also hit some of the best rollouts I've ever seen. And he does it all at a very, very high level for being, you know, soon to be 19 years old tomorrow. Happy early birthday, Archie. And not having played football before. You know, he's matured very quickly in the sport, and I think that he is going to be a huge asset for our team this year.
What was it like for you getting to experience Memorial that Saturday practice, and just, I imagine that's the first time you had kicked in there, just maybe getting to feel a little bit of, obviously not a lot of fans, but still just kind of the environment and all that stuff?
It was cool. It was really awesome. I really enjoyed that Saturday, because like you said, there wasn't as many fans as there would be, but it was kind of a glimpse, in my opinion, into what it can be. And it's good to practice those situations before they come up, you know, like, say, first game of the year, or I guess second game of the year, Memorial. But it was really awesome, and all it did was get me more excited for when all 90,000 people are here cheering Go Big Red. I'm super pumped for it.
Did you learn anything about, or have you learned anything about kind of the wind and Memorial Stadium and the Brett Maher talked about any of that, or do you get deep into the sort of the conditions for kicking this stadium?
Something that Coach Brett really preaches with us is make the wind affect your best ball. And that's kind of looking at it as don't kick or don't place your target because of the wind, but hit it through the wind and focus on contact and focus on the ball or your strike so that the wind doesn't affect it at all. And a lot of times the flags in Memorial Stadium will lie to you. We kicked in there 3 times a week all summer, and they could be blowing any which way, but it doesn't mean the ball is going to move that way. You know, there's times where the flags on one end zone are blowing towards the stands, and the flags on the other end zone are also blowing towards the stands. Like, you have no idea what's going on, and so it's kind of one of those situations where you really just have to hit your best ball, and you know the wind is going to do what it's going to do, but for the most part, it shouldn't really affect it that much.
In Coach Eckler's press conference, he was just saying like he's taking any and all accountability for anything that happens. Does that allow you as like a special teamer to play like carefree or just less pressure, knowing that your coordinator's kind of taking any and all accountability like that?
You know, I'd say it relieves a little bit of pressure, but at the end of the day, we hold a standard here. And regardless of who's claiming responsibility, I think that each and every one of us has to uphold that standard and do the best we can at that. You know, if we want to be a great team, that standard has to be held by everybody. And regardless of who catches the blame for anything, you know, we all got to uphold that standard and do the best we can each and every day.
Does Ja'Cory Barney yell during every kicking session?
Oh, every single one of them. He definitely brings the juice. He's always got a bunch of energy. It's pretty funny. You know, it's interesting because it's like not even that it's getting in your head to miss. It's like you're sitting back there trying not to laugh because you think it's so funny. It's pretty cool. Yeah, he's super vocal in all the kicking periods. And I mean, shoot, even if it's not a kicking period, we could go on in a 2-minute situational period, and he's still out there yelling. You know, it's pretty cool.
Have you ever had a teammate at any other stop that has done something like that?
Not an individual teammate. There's times where there's pressure kicks, and they'll have the whole team up around you kind of thing, and everyone's yelling. But no one ever like Ja'Cory, who's out there day in and day out, you know, bringing the energy during the field goal set period. Because, you know, it can kind of mellow down a little bit during the field goal period, but he doesn't let that happen.
Anything else? Yeah. Kyle, for you, kind of what is it like as someone, you know, kind of moving across the country, assimilating to a room where you're competing against everybody, but you also don't know anybody?
You know, honestly, it was a pretty easy transition. Everybody in the room was super welcoming. We're all super close already, and we're only a few months in. You know, it's something we preach big time in our room is we want to be like this. And, you know, we can't do that with anyone fighting. And so we really, really focus on our relationships with everybody. And it's been a really, really great thus far. And as far as the competition goes, you know, we're just there to make each other better every day, right? I don't really view it as a competition. I view it as each of us doing the best we can be so that we push each other to be the best we can. You know, something we talk about a lot is iron sharpens iron. And I think that's true, right? If you can raise the bar for yourself, your competitor will raise the bar, and ultimately you will both get better. And that's what matters at the end of the day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
I was at working at Mississippi State last year, so I was there when Toledo and your brother kicked their ass for that.
Yeah, he had a good game that game.
I mean, they all did. It was beating an SEC school like that.
That was good.